I was talking about the object. So this is very necessary that an active sentence must have an object, at least one object. If there is object or of action, you can convert that sentence into passive form, otherwise no. तो आपने ये भी क्लियर करना होगा कि सेंटेंस में ऑब्जेक्ट है या नहीं. Number 3, if there is no object here, if there is no object after verb, we can change it into passive form. Number 3, the verb must show action. If the verb shows state, it's not changeable by following the general rules. So we can change some stative sentences in passive form, but they have different rules. They don't come under general rules. An active sentence must have these three parts. An active sentence must have subject, verb, and object. And PATEP rule, if there is place, adjective, time, adverb, or preposition, that sentence cannot be changed into passive voice. Rules for changing active sentence into passive. ये है rules. Rule number 1. Divide the sentence into three parts. Whenever we want to change an active sentence into passive sentence, first of all, we have to find out where the subject is, where the object is, and where the verb is. After finding subject, verb, and object, we have to divide that particular sentence into three different parts to make our work further easy. And it is not necessary to follow this rule if you are very expert. But when you are not expert, you have to follow the rules. वो कहते हैं ना कि जब आप कहीं जाएं जगह फर्स्ट टाइम तो आपको नक्शा फॉलो करना पड़ता है, लोगों से पूछना पड़ता है, और जब आप उस जगह से आदी हो जाते हैं, जगह का आपको पता चल जाता है, तो ना ही नक्शे की जरूरत पड़ती है, ना ही किसी से पूछने की. So when you are new, you have to follow the rules. The rules will guide you. And the rule number 1 says that before you directly change that sentence into passive, first of all, divide that sentence into three parts, find out subject, verb, and object. And after finding subject, verb, and object, you will move to rule number 2. Here, Sumbal is subject, teaches is verb, English is object. Then exchange the position of subject and object. जो सब्जेक्ट था उसको हम ऑब्जेक्ट की तरफ ले जाएंगे और जो ऑब्जेक्ट है उसको हम सब्जेक्ट के लिए ले आएंगे. The subject sentence becomes the object of passive sentence, and the object of active sentence becomes the subject passive sentence. Here, see, English comes instead of Sumbal, Sumbal come instead of English. So sentence remains English teaches Sumbal. अभी ये आस्ता आस्ता हम रूट की तरफ जा रहे हैं. Note, अच्छा ये भी बहुत important चीज है. Here that subject becomes object and object becomes subject in simple words. But when an active subject becomes the passive object, it does not mean here from doer of doing action, it starts receiving action. No, it is doer of action not only as in active sentence, but also in what? In passive sentence. But in active sentence, it is the doer of action in form. In passive sentence, it is the doer of action in a objective form. You can call it passive of object passive sorry, you can call it passive object, but still it has got the same duty. Similarly, you can call the object of active the passive subject, but still it is the receiver of action. So subject and object of passive sentence are affected and unreal subjects and object. It means that both have got the same. Even their grammatical functions are changed or replaced. Subject is still the doer of action and object is still the receiver of action. Affected subjects and objects are those which are affected by forms of verb. They have got the same functions in other forms. As an affected object is always the doer of action, always the doer, an object is always the receiver. However, due to their forms, they change their functions in sentence. Acha. So later here, always use verb 3 as main verb in passive sentence. In active sentences, we have different verb forms in different tenses, but in passive, your verb form will be same, and that is past participle verb, third form of the verb. She writes a letter, writes will directly become written, and we use helping verb according to the tense. Different tenses have got different helping verbs. They start from is, am, are, was, were, have been, has been, had been, will be, will, and will have been. And we use by, to, or with before passive object according to the subject. Some sentences take by, some verbs take to, some verbs take with. According to the nature of verb, we use different agentive prepositions. Important point, whenever we want to change an active sentence into passive, we have to make sure the following points. अच्छा ये points make sure करने, whether subject is the doer of action or not, the repeated one. If subject is not doer of an action, then no change. Whether verb shows action or not, if verb does not show action, no change. If there is receiver of action or not, if not, then no change. Whether there is place modifier, time modifier, or manner modifier, if yes, then no change. Most importantly, all passive sentences have got the same structure, which is B plus or 3. Example number 1, Salman has gotten first position in his final exam. Salman has gotten first position in his final exam. अब इस sentence को हम passive में change करते हैं. So before we change this sentence, we have to ask some questions from ourselves. If we get yes, yes answers, we will change it. If we get no answers, we will not change it. See, now we want to change the above sentence into passive verb form following the required rules. Question number 1. Does the above sentence have doer of action? Answer is yes. And what is the doer of action? Salman. Does the above sentence has action? Yes. What's that action? Gotten. Does the sentence have the receiver of action? Yes. What's that? First position. So above sentence has got all these important ingredients. It has got subject, it has got verb, and it has got receiver of action. The above sentence has all those important requirements which an active sentence must have for passive form. In next step, we will have to follow all the rules one by one to change them to passive. Here, Salman has played very well. Let's see. Can we change this into passive voice? Once again, Salman has played very well. So does the above sentence has doer of action? Yes, Salman. Does the above sentence has action? Yes. What's that? Played. Does the sentence have the receiver of action? No, it does not have receiver of action because very well is a verb of manner and it is not the receiver of action. So above sentence has all those two important requirements which an active sentence must have for passive form. But unfortunately, it did not have the receiver of action, which is considered to be the most important part. जैसे मैंने आपको पहले ही बताया कि receiver of action का होना बहुत ज़्यादा ही ज़रूरी है. So there is no receiver of action due to this one what do you call, एक कमी की वजह से we cannot change the above sentence into passive form. You can have some spelling mistakes in my that, but it happens. Acha, rules. Salman has gotten first position. So we divided that sentence into 3 parts. Salman, subject, verb has gotten, object, first position. So change the first subject with object and object with subject. First position has gotten Salman. Here, first position has gotten Salman. And here, according to the tense, first position has been gotten by Salman. So these are the rules which we have to follow. We have to divide sentence. We have to change the position of subject with object, object with subject. Verb must be third form and helping verb must be used according to the situation. So these are tense changes. ये tense को change करते हैं किस तरह? Subject, verb one and object. तो इंशाल्लाह ये जो notes हैं मैं tenses के मैं आपको share कर दूँ, बल्कि आप इसकी screenshot ले ले साथ साथ. Let me say. Present and definite को किस तरह change करेंगे? She cleans the room. She cleans the room. Car the car is cleaned by her. The car is not cleaned by her. Is the car cleaned by her? Past indefinite. The car was cleaned by her. The car was not cleaned by her. Was the car cleaned by her? Here present continuous. Is Amar. She is washing the car. The car is being washed by her. The structures are written there. The car is not being washed by her. Is the car being washed by her? And past continuous. She was washing the car. The car was being washed by her. Similarly, present perfect tense की भी structures मौजूद हैं, past perfect की भी, future indefinite inshallah. So this was your active and passive, guys. I hope you learned many things, and inshallah I will share these notes with you in group. And if you had taken its or their screenshots, that's also very good. So if you have got any kind of question, dears, you can ask me questions. I'm going to allow you to ask any question if you have in your mind. Does anybody want to ask question?
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर।
Walaikum salam.
सर ये मॉडल वर्ब के बारे में क्वेश्चन था। ये मॉडल वर्ब के हमारे पास जो है ना सेकंड और थर्ड फॉर्म होते हैं।
मॉडल वर्ब्स के
जी सर।
असल में मॉडल वर्ब के सेकंड थर्ड फॉर्म तो ऐसे नहीं, लेकिन इसमें एक वर्ब फॉर्म जिसे हम कहते हैं परफेक्टिव मॉडल, जिसे हम कहते हैं
जी सर।
परफेक्टिव। अभी देखिए शुड, what is the perfective model of should have plus verb 3, should have plus verb 3. इस तरह must have plus verb 3. इस तरह might have plus verb 3. इस तरह could have plus verb 3. So could has different usage, and could have plus verb 3 has different usage. So they are not their past forms, they are different. Noshin, please
ओके
stop
सर।
recording because the topic is over.